How did the popular person of your school get a taste of their own medicine? Story 1. He was the most attractive boy in the school. Girls would literally fight to be his girlfriend. Then, like Prince William, his free trial of hair and premium face expired, and he got downgraded. Basically went from a PS5 to Mr. Game and Watch over the course of 5 years. Story 2. It was a long time ago in the early 2000s. I was in high school when this a-hole harassed classmates in his class. This guy was picking on kids for random reasons. I couldn't remember the exact ones. He would mostly use what he was able to find to taunt the other kids. Given the fact I had misophonia, the guy took the information and used many things that caused sensory overload. It was even happening on the school bus. Finally, one day, the guy was told he couldn't board the bus for harassment and was assigned to one meant for those with disabilities. That wasn't all. He was told to report to a different room for the whole day, without being told why. Of course, he complained, but the teacher in the classroom was sent to tell him off. I wasn't sure what was going on until a few days later. It turns out the bus driver had noticed what was going on and reported him. Soon, a few teachers who work with disabled kids reported him as well. He was ordered to read and was tested on a law regarding hate crimes, as harassing someone with a disability could be grounds for such a crime. The punishment varies under Massachusetts law. Since it was mostly harassment, it was mainly a fine, mandated course, and community services. The icing on the cake, the community service order was to work as a custodian at a nursing home. Edit. Thanks for the silver. I wasn't expecting much. Oh, for those asking, the part about hate crime is General Law Part 1, Title 2, Chapter 22C, Section 32, Massachusetts Legislature. Story 3. Am I in the minority to think that there was no popular a-hole in my high school? There were popular kids, but they were pretty chill. There were a-holes who wanted to be popular but no one liked them. I guess the most popular guy from my high school, who was a cool dude, married his high school sweetheart and became a physical trainer for an NFL team, and the most popular girl went to medical school, so if that's the update you're looking for, there you go. Story 4. So in junior high there was a kid we'll call Mark, and he would always speak on another kid, Steve, in the gym. Mark would do things like spray him with deodorant or slap the back of his head. One day, Steve was carrying a book and Mark tried to take it. But I guess Steve had been practicing Aikido or something, cause one moment Mark's hand was on the book, and by extension Steve's hand, and the next Mark is laying on his back and Steve is calmly walking away. Boss move. Story 5. A guy really had an immortality complex. He thought he could and did get away with anything. We're talking seriously messed up things here. Then one day he decided to brag about showing inappropriate videos to his young sister. Even worse, he said this in a Discord server that a lot of people were in. Long story short, someone called Child Protective Services and he had a very bad day. Story 6. He went bald at 24. Ironically, dozens of other classmates started going bald in their early 30s. He made a Facebook post that said, "For those finally going bald, some of us went bald years ago and have already made it through the grieving process. Good luck." I thought it was actually funny, and perhaps losing his hair so early may have humbled him. Story 7. She was 2 years older than me, and she wouldn't leave me alone, soaking my sleeping bag in nail polish remover during summer camp, messing with me during the school year, the whole 9 yards. She only stopped when she had to change school because she was expelled for doing inappropriate activities with another student in the school's bathroom. Out of curiosity, I did a checkup on her not too long ago, and turns out she is addicted to illegal substances, who is in and out of rehab with 3 kids from 3 different dads, and she still lives with her good-for-nothing parents. Story 8. It's a test normally given to little kids as a silly lesson in reading what's at the top of the page, before you just go blundering into the test thinking you know what to do. The teacher will or should mention to read the directions carefully before you start. In the directions, it will say something like, write your name at the top of the test, then flip your paper over and sit quietly. Meanwhile, if you skip over that, the questions ask you to do increasingly absurd or tedious things that you aren't going to have enough time to do. In this case, part of it involved drawing a smiley face with certain qualities. Then you had to color the features in specific orders. She threw her colored pencil bag onto her desk and spilled them out. Frantic, I made eye contact with my teacher and tried not to laugh. Years later, I ran into that teacher again and told her how great it was to see my old tormentor in such a panic over something she could easily have avoided. Story 9. The band was pretty popular where I lived. I mean, there were super popular kids in the band. They had a lot of hazing. I don't know their pecking order, but if someone senior to you told you to do something band related, you had to do it. There was this one chick who was the second senior person in the whole band. She was always talking trash to everyone every single day. One day, that one girl who was senior to her called her out and made her march all over the school in front of everyone, and made her sing a bunch of chants and more. I wasn't even in the band and it still seemed harsh to me. Story 10. All the cool girls who used to make my life difficult are now pregnant or with kids, and no partners living with their parents, and obviously no job prospects. It gives me a little satisfaction because they always said I'd achieved nothing in life and wouldn't date anyone because of blah blah blah. I recently moved into our first house with the love of my life, who supports me mentally and helps me to fight for what I want. He keeps me motivated to finish my university course, which is medicine, which is hard and takes all my time. It's a bit of a mental lift to know that karma comes back to people. Story 11. There was this guy in my high school named Toby, who was a massive a-hole, but also popular due to being on the basketball team, loved to pick fights and play rough. Toby bit off more than he could chew when he elbowed this one classmate named Andy during PE playing a friendly game. After taking the hit, Andy just straight up decked Toby in the face, knocking him out and making him lose 3 of his front teeth and a swollen lip. Toby learned his lesson and stopped being an a-hole after that. Story 12. A star athlete picked on the overweight kids in the gym. Fast forward a couple of decades, he's overweight and bald. Saw him using a Walmart scooter recently, buying bad food. One of the kids he picked on got in shape, stayed that way, and became a top-tier endurance athlete. So sweet. Edit. I was neither the a-hole nor the endurance athlete. That would be very Twilight Zone-ish. Story 13. He never targeted me, but apparently he was a giant a-hole to everybody else. He was a star football running back and had multiple scholarships to Division 1. Then he broke his leg and all the offers evaporated. Went to a Division 3 school, had a couple of kids, got divorced, and then posted all of his old scholarships to Facebook at age 40. Really sad to see. Literally argued with every single person on the reunion Facebook group. Everyone told him how much they always hated him. He is now literally insane and posts 30 to 40 times a day on Facebook of foreign Instagram models with long diatribes about love and life translated into 10 different languages. Posts really explicit pictures of himself also, most hyping himself up, a dark spiral. Story 14. My teacher. She loved to use humiliation against me. I was severely depressed at the time and she thought I was a slacker. I'm a little person, and she would get me to turn off the lights for the projector or to write on the whiteboard. only to feign ignorance and apologize when I struggled to reach. One day she crossed the line, and I went to the deputy head teacher. He decided to reprimand her during a lesson in front of her entire class to give her a taste of humiliation too. Story 15. In middle school, when the bell rang to change classes, the hallways were a horrific traffic jam. Everyone suffered through trying to get to their lockers in the next class on time. Enter the a-hole popular guy who thought it was funny to sneak up behind some unsuspecting student who's at his locker and smack the back of the student's head, causing the student to bang his head into his locker. The a-hole guy got several warnings to stop, but he didn't. He thought it was so funny. Then one day he picked on the wrong student. The a-hole guy got punched square in the face, fell down, and lost a tooth. Not a single person from teacher to student came to his defense. When the a-hole's parents came to the school all upset, everyone told them their son got what he deserved. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate the bell button to receive notifications to my latest videos.